Welcome back to the Tool Crib. Today we're going to be looking at the Icon Pliers Wrench in the 10-inch version. Now, to my knowledge, the 10-inch version is the only version that they make right now. And a little bit of background. Icon Tools is the premium brand line of Harbor Freight tools. Now, admittedly, I have stayed away from Harbor Freight tools for many years because most of their stuff is either low-end or mid-range tools that generally don't hold up well in a commercial setting. That doesn't mean that they don't have value, because for the DIYer or the homeowner, they have tremendous value because a lot of times you can find those tools for 30, 40% of what the name brand tools cost. And if you're not putting them through the rigors of a commercial setting and treat them correctly, they'll actually hold up for quite a long time. And so if you just need a particular tool for one particular project or a couple of projects, then it makes complete sense to go pay 30% of the value or 30% instead of 100% for the same tools. And especially when you're talking tools, they can get really, really pricey in a hurry. Now, a few years ago, Harbor Freight released the Icon brand. The Icon brand, I got to tell you, they're really good. They hold up well against their high-end competitors. Competitors like Snap-on, like Mac, like Proto. They make really good tools. And if you get a chance, you're in Harbor Freight, go check out their Icon wrenches, their Icon ratchets, socket sets, their pliers, their toolboxes in particular are really, really good. They've come a long way, Harbor Freight has. And if you have Icon stuff in your box, you're not going to get... you wouldn't get a second look from me because they're really good tools, and they're a little cheaper than the higher end tools. So probably anywhere from 10 to 40%, depending on what particular tool that we're looking at. But today we're going to be talking about the Icon Pliers Wrench and how closely it matches to the inventor of this tool, which is Knipex, in a brand that I am a very fervent admirer of. I love Knipex tools. They are outstanding quality. They hold up. They're just phenomenally good tools. So we're going to get into this, and I'm probably not going to have the most popular opinion when it comes to this, but we'll get into that here in a minute. So let's talk about the Icon Pliers Wrench versus the Knipex 10-inch Pliers Wrench. All right, so let's get this open, and we'll just see what it's all about. Here we go. Get that off. Set that to the side. I'll tell you what I want to do is I want to go use this for a little bit, and I don't have my Knipex with me. They're at home, and for those of you that know, I've been on the road now for about 3 weeks on a job site, and so most of my higher end Knipex stuff stays at home. Not so much because I don't want to use it. It's because I'm afraid it's going to walk off. And so I can't wait to actually put this head-to-head with the Knipex 10-inch. But for now, we're just going to talk about the tool. I'm going to get a little bit of a feel for it. I'll come back. We'll talk about it. Well, I've had a chance to use this on some really light stuff. Nothing super excessive. So just to give you a little baseline for my opinion on this. And as of right now, I can't tell any difference between this one and the Knipex version, with the exception of a couple of minor things. So number one thing that I notice is that the handle material on this one is a lot spongier. It has a lot more give to it. It's a lot more comfortable to use than the standard Knipex handle wrap. Now, generally, I don't purchase the comfort grip stuff from Knipex. They get quite a bit pricier, and I really don't see the need for them for me. I know a lot of people do like to have that. I'm just saying that it's just not something that I do. So this particular version, though, the Icon, I do notice it in the handles. I notice that it has a more comfortable grip. As far as operation, it operates butter smooth and has virtually the same design, same lockup and everything as the Knipex version. The jaws run completely parallel, has the same. In fact, it's even down to the clip back here that is exactly the same as the Knipex, which really leads me to believe that somehow Knipex and Icon have made an agreement between this tool. I hope that is the case, because this one so closely matches the Knipex that if that is not the case, then that is verging into the unethical for me. Now, let's talk a little bit about patents. So, first of all, a lot of people are of the opinion this brand belongs to Knipex, or this design belongs to Knipex because Knipex was the one that came out with this design. It's their design, their intellectual property. They should have the rights to it for eternity. I do not believe that. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of why. Okay, so let's say that you only had one option for a framing square. So obviously, at some point in time, there was a single inventor of a framing square. Now, does that mean that that inventor or that company has the right for the framing square for eternity? No, I don't believe that. Can you imagine going into Home Depot or Lowe's or Menards and only being able to pick up one style or one brand of framing square? Now, generally what manufacturers will do is they will make that tool their own. So they'll add little details or little, just make it a little bit different to make it their own brand. As far as the actual tool goes and what it accomplishes, though, it's all the same. It's the same tool. It's different coatings, it's different markings, it's maybe different cutouts. There's nuanced things that are different. The same can be said for the skill saw. Let's say you could only buy one brand of circular saw. Does that benefit the end users, the consumers? No, absolutely not. Can you imagine? You could say, and I don't even know who the actual inventor of the circular saw was, but let's say it was Skill Saw. Does that mean that Skill Saw that you can't get a DeWalt, you can't get a Milwaukee or a Makita or a Hilti circular saw? Can you imagine that they hold the rights to that circular saw for life? No, that's not the way free markets work, and that's not the way I believe. I do believe, though, that in a particular tool, that manufacturers should strive to make it their own a little bit. And this is where we run into a little bit of a problem with this tool. The Icon Pliers Wrench so closely matches the Knipex Pliers Wrench that the only thing I can tell, handle material, there may be a little bit of nuanced differences in the handles. Not having them side by side is difficult for me to tell at the moment. But as far as the cutouts go, as far as the adjustment mechanism, including the spring on the back, they appear to be 100% identical. Now, again, I haven't had a chance to check with either Knipex and I didn't really get anywhere with Harbor Freight on whether or not this was a licensing agreement between the two companies. A lot of people are probably going to say no, that may very well be the case. I honestly do not know. I want to stress that. I do not know. But it just so closely matches it that I cannot imagine that a company would directly copy just almost every element of the design from Knipex, even though the patent has expired on the Pliers Wrench. Now, I promise you, because that patent has expired, you're going to see a lot of different companies come out with their own version of the Pliers Wrench, and it's because it's a great tool. It was a great concept. It's one of the best wrenches on the planet as far as multi-use. It's just a phenomenally good tool. So you're going to see that in the Cobra pliers, which we already have. If you go to Harbor Freight, you can find the Doyle version of the Knipex Cobra pliers, and you're going to see it in the Pliers Wrench. However, I did not think that they would so closely match. I believe in free markets. I believe that Knipex made their money off of it. They have anywhere from, depending on the type of patent, they have anywhere from 10 to 14 years to sell their brand and make their money on their design. After that, it goes to public domain. And that's where you start seeing these pop-ups of different things. So it's just like a flashlight. Can you imagine if only one company had the rights to a flashlight and you could only buy a flashlight from one company because they were the inventors? No, that's not how it works. Or imagine that the man who invented the zipper holds the right to the zipper forever, and no jean company can use his zipper patent unless they pay him a royalty. Well, for the first 10 years, they did. But after that, it's public domain. They no longer have to pay for that. And that's why I believe that once the patents expire, it's free game for everybody. However, I go back to the ethics. If they don't have a licensing agreement, the ethics of Harbor Freight Icon tool brand directly copying the Knipex tool is really shady, in my opinion. I hope that there's a licensing agreement, because Icon has really made some really great tools, and tools that I've thought about featuring here on the channel, because they really are really fabulous tools when it comes to going head to head against some of these higher end companies. This one runs $40, and I don't remember what the 10-inch of the Knipex version goes in the regular handles. I think it's about $60. So automatically, this is 34% less than that of the Knipex, and it may be a little bit more than that. Now, when they start adding on some of the other sizes, we'll see where their price range runs. But when I have time, and as soon as I have time, I'm going to contact Knipex, and I'm going to contact the marketing department of Harbor Freight Tools to see if we can get a better indication as to whether or not they have a licensing agreement. I don't know the metal composition, and on the packaging, they really don't show any of that stuff. They just kind of give you the outlines of how the Pliers Wrench works. So, I want to hear you guys' opinions, and I know that a lot of people are going to fall in line with the fact that this is Knipex design and should remain their design forever. I happen to disagree with that. I think that does not benefit the consumer, and that's not the way the laws work anyway. The laws work that after that 10 to 14 year period, that this is public domain, and other manufacturers can implement this design into their own tool lines. Again, we go back to the ethics of it. If they don't have a licensing agreement, I really feel like, they could have done a number of things. They could have changed the handle design a little bit more. They could have made different cutouts or eliminated the cutouts here for lightening up the tool. They could have done any number of things to make it their own while still using the basic design of the Knipex Pliers Wrench. The teeth pattern, I'll check it when I get it against the 10-inch Knipex version, but offhand, it looks identical. So much so that when I first saw these, it took me a couple of seconds to register that this wasn't a Knipex tool and to see the Icon brand on it. So, this is going to be an area of debate for a lot of people. I happen to fall in the line or on the side of it's available to the free market once the patent expires. But I disagree with Icon's direct copying of this. They should have, if there's no licensing agreement between the two companies, then they should have strove to make this more unique or more their own tool. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion about this, and I can't wait to put this head-to-head with the real Knipex 10-inch version to see how well they hold up. But I know tools pretty well, and this is pretty well built. This also comes with a lifetime guarantee. So for those that want to have this type of tool, want to have a Pliers Wrench, but don't want to pay Knipex's price for it, then this is a really good option. And a lot of people are going to take that option regardless of the ethics of it and how one person may or may not feel about it. Honestly, I'm probably going to end up buying a couple of them, putting them on the tool trailer, because I get the same value or get the same use out of the Icon, and I don't have to put some of my more higher end price tools on the tool trailer. So my Knipex will stay in my box at home for my personal use, and the Icons will travel on the road with us. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. My name is Ben. You've been watching the Texas Tool Crib. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.